Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. Okay, so we are continuing on with our Avengers and our new Avengers. Yes, we are. We are continuing on. And in this one, we pick up with the kind of coming together of the teams, right? Of the Illuminati, and with Captain America's Avengers team, Sunspot's Avengers team, this long-awaited sit-down between these two groups. But the question people have is, why now? Right? Like, why are we just now calling a meeting? Like, why is it that we're just now at this point? And why are things so dire that Reed Richards and the Illuminati saw no other option than to basically trap Captain America's team and then force them into a meeting? And the reason why is because Reed Richards kind of explains that with everything that's going on, that while the Illuminati were constantly on the run from Captain America's Avengers team, that they've also been monitoring the multiverse for multiple reasons, right? We saw that early in the story. They were monitoring the multiverse to see if there were other Earths who found ways to end the incursions or whatever it is. But one of the things that they realize is that some kind of an event happened out there. They don't know what that event is, but some kind of an event took place out in the multiverse. And where previously, despite how far into the incursions we are, there were hundreds of thousands of universes left. Now there's 22. Something happened. There's 22 universes left, and that's it. Like, no one, like, he doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know what it was that had happened. And when the question's like, okay, so like what's the plan, right? Like, when Carol Danvers, like, just tell us what your plan is. Reed's response is like, our plan for what? What plan? Like, I mean, there's no plan here. Like, there's no great, like, I'm telling you guys so you know what's going on. There's no great plan that I have. I mean, I've got one ace up my sleeve, but that's it. Like that's it. Like, I have one last, like literally one last hope. Like, I have a singular hope out there, and that's it, right? That's all we have. And when the question's like, what have you guys been doing all this time, right? That's what Captain America asked, like, what have you been doing? Like what's been happening here? What does all of this mean? The response of Reed and Black Panther is, okay, well, it looks like our odds are better. And when they're like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, we're gonna miss every incursion except for one, the final incursion. We'll outlive all of them. And when the question's asked, like, well, what happens, right? Like, what happens when we get to the last incursion? His answer is, I don't know. Like, I literally have no idea. Like, I was hoping we'd never get to this point. I was hoping we would never get to a place where we legitimately had to face the fact that the multiverse was going to end, but it's going to, right? Like, something happened, it sped up the death of the entire multiverse, right? So now we're down to 22 universes left. They're going to start crashing into each other. There's nothing we can do to stop them, right? Like, they're going to start crashing into each other. We can hope that the heroes on those worlds, if that world even has any heroes, can somehow find a way to stave it off. But there's nothing. And then Captain America's response is like, what have you guys been doing this whole time, right? Like, I mean, sure, we were chasing you guys down, whatever, but you're the smartest men in the world. What have you been doing? If you say you've been working on things and doing things while you were on the run, what were those things? And Reed Richards kind of gives T'Challa like this just sad look, right? And he says, like, while she was our prisoner, the Black Swan outlined some possible ways for us to survive the incursions. If the Earth is the incursion point, which is to say that if an Earth exists in a universe, then if that Earth collides with another Earth during an incursion, then like both universes will be destroyed. So we can do like so many other people did, which was to destroy their world, right? Destroy their Earth. And that would basically spare their universe, right? Like, we can do that. We can see what happens. And so that's what they did, right? They basically created a cosmic cube, and they created a series of Exodus planets, right? Planets within the universe where they could basically start, like moving people, right? They could just find these worlds there, or they could just make worlds, right? Like, they can just create worlds out of nowhere that are just habitable, honestly, because it would take more time to look for a world than it would be to just make one. And they could make a series of them in like different solar systems, or maybe even an entire solar system that's just colonized by humanity. But the problem with this is why I love Jonathan Hickman, is the stars are dying. Remember, we covered that in a previous video, right? We talked about how you had those ex nihili, and it seemed arbitrary, and I told you guys it would become important later on that those stars were dying out early. That's the problem that they have. Because the universe is ending, or the multiverse is ending, that means the universes are basically going to end sooner, and the stars are just kind of giving up, right? They're basically just dying. And so because of that, like, even if they do have a series of Exodus planets, there won't really be a star there. Now, they do have the ability to create stars, right? Using the cosmic cube. The problem is that with one of these suns going supernova, they had to get off like immediately, and they ended up leaving the cube behind. And the result was that the containment device for the cube's energies was destroyed. The cosmic cube's energies itself was not destroyed, but the containment device for the cube was. And so what they ended up doing was moving on to the next thing, right? Because making a cosmic cube is not an easy process, and you need a lot of energy and a lot of resources in order to be able to do it. And so what they did is they moved on to the next thing, right? They hit up the cosmic entities. They hit up Galactus, and they asked Galactus to arrange a meeting with the Celestials so that all the cosmic entities could use their power to try to create a habitable place, right? Explaining everything that's going on, saying, hey guys, I don't know if you've known, there's an incursion going on. There's incursions across the multiverse, right? So an Earth will pop up, and basically it'll sit there, it'll start moving closer and closer over the span of 8 hours. And as soon as it hits our Earth, both universes will be destroyed. We want to basically evacuate the entire Earth's population, right? Use your power to basically create a world for us to live on, and then teleport everybody on our Earth to that new world, and then blow up our Earth and save our universe. And the cosmic entities were on board. They were totally on board with it, and then they disappeared. They just vanished they were just gone. Why? Like, why did they take off? From there, like, it turned into, okay, like they basically had Brian Braddock hit up the Captain Britain Corps and then basically go out there, because remember, the Captain Britain Corps is multiversal. So the Captain Britain Corps was exploring the source of the multiverse, but as soon as they started exploring it, they were met by the arrival of the map makers, and like they were obliterated. Pretty much everyone but Brian Braddock from the main Marvel universe was destroyed, right? They were completely wiped out by the map makers. And so then in turn, Reed Richards turned to Franklin Richards, right? He turned to his son to see if it was possible to use his power to create universes, to somehow create either a new universe for them or to create a sustainable world, but that didn't work. Nothing they did worked. Nothing worked. Everything they've tried has failed, and it's every option that they have. And so when the question is like, if we don't really have a way to stop it, like, are we any closer to figuring out the cause of this, right? Are we any closer to figuring out how these incursions are starting? Because remember, Robert DaCosta sent his Multiversal Avengers team out there for the same purpose, right? But maybe the Illuminati have found something out. And Reed says, like, we've tried quite a few things, and then suddenly he's cut off. And the reason why is because he looks at everybody and says, he's back. And this was the ace in the hole of Reed Richards. It's like, okay, who's back? Like who's coming back? Like, who's this one hope you had that's coming back? And he says, you know, like 8 months ago, myself and Tony, like, we sent somebody out into the multiverse to basically find the source of the incursions, but he was only supposed to be gone for a few weeks, but like we assumed he'd been lost forever. And when it's like, okay, like he's returned, like, who is this? It's Ant-Man. Right? It's Hank Pym. Like, he's going by the name Yellow Jacket now, but like, it's Ant-Man. And it's like, he's like, oh my God, I'm finally back. And it's like, okay, dude, you're finally back. Like, you're finally here. Relax, chill for a minute, but like, tell us, like, what did you find? Did you find Rabu Malal? Did you succeed in finding him? Have you found the Great Destroyer? Did you find the cause of the incursions? And the response of Hank Pym is, no, I didn't find the Great Destroyer. I found the Ivory Kings. And they're like, oh God, like, because remember, the Ivory Kings are this mystery group out there that are somehow involved, right? We covered that in a previous video, that the Ivory Kings are at war with Rabu Malal, and they're the other part of the incursion. And so it's like, okay, like, you know, like literally Hank Pym is just insane. He's out of his mind, right? Just sputtering. Like, I found the Ivory Kings. I found the Ivory Kings, right? The White Lords from wild space, from out there, from beyond. I found the Beyonders. All hope is lost. It's lost. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. Like, it's the Beyonders, right? Like, any chance of hope they had is completely and totally gone. Why is it gone? We'll find out in the next video. We will find out in the next video. No, we're not. I'm not gonna leave you guys hanging like that. I'm not gonna leave you guys hanging like that. Because I know a lot of you guys would be like, no, like, I need to know what happens next. Okay. I'll tell you guys what happens next in the next video. With that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.